You're watching the Valley's most watched television station, WKBN 27.
Well, this year alone, more than 40,000 women will die from breast cancer. October is Breast Cancer Awareness Month, and this morning, Dr. Michael Sevilla, Chief of Staff at Salem Community Hospital, joins us to talk about the risk factors and prevention. Thanks for being here this morning.
Good morning.
You're in your pink today.
Yes.
There's lots of pink everywhere this month. We're noticing a lot of pink. What do we want women to know when you talk about prevention? Is there such a thing as prevention of breast cancer?
Oh, absolutely. There's a prevention for breast cancer. Some interesting statistics that I've found out is that about 200,000 women are diagnosed annually with breast cancer, and with about 40,000 deaths, which leads to the second most diagnosed cancer in women and the second most common cause of cancer death in women. So it's very serious.
Okay, so to prevent it, I mean, everybody thinks, oh, the mammogram. The mammogram is the first line of defense. Is that correct? Are there other things you could do? What you eat, what you drink?
Yeah. The most important thing is to make a visit with your physician, to talk about your risk factors, to get a physical exam. When you talk about mammograms, mammograms are very important, especially at the Salem Community Hospital. We have the state-of-the-art of mammograms, which is called the digital mammography. And what we found is that we've been able to find some cancers earlier and treat them earlier. Now, is that going to replace the traditional film mammogram? We're not really sure about that. But definitely to get a visit with your physician to talk about your risk factors and your physical exam is very important.
Right. Now, the digital you were talking about, I've read a little bit here and there. Sometimes, does it lead to a lot of false positives or not? I mean, what's the...
Yeah, it can. Is that going to be the standard of care going into the future? We're not really sure about that yet. But what we have found is that we've been able to detect some cancers earlier, to treat them earlier, and to prevent cancers from progressing.
Okay. Let's talk about our daughters, our teenage daughters. When do you teach them or get them to understand about the self-breast exam? And how early is too early to get started? I mean, is there a time that you should say, oh, by 20 years old, women should be doing this? Is there a time? Yeah,
one of the important things is to know if you do have a family history of breast cancer, and there are some genetic markers out there that can be tested for. So if you have a history of breast cancer or have a family history of that, teaching your daughters earlier about self-breast exam and about breast cancer is very important.
Okay, let's talk about hormones and birth control pills and so on. Are they in any way related to breast cancer? How does that all work?
Yeah, there's been a lot of studies done on birth control pills through the years, and the data we have right now is very conflicted. Some say they are associated, some say they aren't associated. I've also got questions about, do certain vitamins or certain diet, do they directly prevent breast cancer? The studies haven't shown that out. It won't hurt you, but we don't have the data right now to saying taking this will definitely prevent breast cancer.
Okay. Well, thanks so much for being here this morning. We're going to talk with you more in the next hour. And coming up in that next hour, we'll learn what's new in the fight against breast cancer. Thanks, Dr. Sevilla, for being here. Now, still to come on First News this morning, she proudly proclaimed that she wore lipstick to her mastectomy in a best-selling book and movie. Well, this morning, breast cancer survivor Geraldine Lucas is here. She's celebrating the women of the Valley, and find out where ahead.